Good morning, everyone. Today I've got another roofing video for you, and today we are doing nail replacement. So as you can tell, this old barn roof here is very old, and some of the sheets blew away from the wind, so we're replacing those sheets. And we're also putting screws where there used to be nails on all of the horizontal joints. So these have two different joints up on the roof. I'll probably show you that in a minute. But for now, we're going to take you down here to the van. And there's the sheets we're working with. So I got to kind of watch my lighting here. But yeah. Now these sheets here are brand new sheets, brand new galvanized sheets. They do not match the profile of the roof up on the top. But seeing as it's an old barn and it's been patched many times before, the farmer didn't really care if the profile matched or not. We were just supposed to try to tighten her up as good as possible. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And I'll be taking you through that a little bit at a time. So there's that, the hole I'm working on right now. And I'll be up on the roof here right shortly. Now, when dealing with nail replacements, what we use is called a nail replacement screw. I got my big old bag right there. But I'm just going to do a little side-by-side comparison showing you. The one on the right, that is a nail replacement screw. You can see it's got a much bigger washer. And then we have the regular screw, which we'd use on all of our metal roofing products, on the left. If we go over to the thread, you can see that it definitely has a different thread pattern. And our regular metal roofing screw has what they call a self-tapping end, whereas these are just pointed. So the self-tapping helps if you don't want to drill all your holes prior to putting your sheet on. Very nice in that way. And whereas we're pulling nails out of old sheets and replacing them with screws, the nail replacement screws don't need to have that self-tapping end on it. So there you go, a little something for you guys. And we'll just do one more thing. This is the old-fashioned ridge cap that belongs on this barn. This is definitely not our style, but it's a customer provided ridge cap, so we're going to be using that today. So here you guys can see how badly these panels are mismatched. Now, why did we go with these panels? That's a good question. These old rusty panels that you see, well, you can't get them anymore. They're an outdated profile, and nobody seems to make these anymore. I'm sure there's got to be places that would custom make them for you, but that's going to cost you an arm and a leg. And any farmer who has this old barn is not going to really want to spend too much money into the roof, right? The barn is kind of old. But I tried tightening things up so that there's minimal holes. Still not pretty, but it will suffice for what he wants. Now, I want to show you one more thing while we're here. And I see my shadows completely in my way. Not so good. But you can see I put screws on all the ribs. And that's a very old technology that goes way back to the earliest days of metal roofing. We don't do that anymore. And I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to make my way up here and I'll show you exactly why we don't do that anymore. That there is the culprit and the one reason why. Because nails always pull out. Now why do they pull out? Why do nails always want to pull out? And it goes for screws too. It takes a little longer, but it still does the same thing. So you can see he did that as well on his replacement sheets here, all across. And I'm just trying to match the profile on the sheet that I'm working with. So I know these are not going to last forever. So I also don't expect his barn to last forever. But we need to answer the question, why not in the ribs? And why not nails? Nails, first off, are terrible at holding, even if they are spiral bound. And screws, well, they hold better, but being in the ribs is exactly where you want all your expansion and shrinking. So metal will expand in the summer as it gets warmer, and it'll shrink. It'll contract in the winter as it gets colder. Not everybody knows this, and this is why people have been doing it and putting fasteners through the ribs for many, many years. But we've learned this over time, and if you don't learn anything within the last 200 years, then you might be doing something wrong. So what we found is by putting them in the flat part of the sheet, you can get them a lot more snug to your strapping, and that way you prevent your sheets from lifting up, because every time that rib expands, it's lifting the nail up, and then in the winter when it contracts again, it leaves a gap. And I can show you many, many examples on this roof where if you just take a look along that nail line, you'll see there's nails popping their heads out everywhere. They're not tight on the roof, and it's exactly for that reason, because they can't stay all the way flush on the rib. Once the heat makes the ribs expand, and then later on in the winter when the cold makes the sheets contract, and you're left with a gap between the nail and the panel, and that's when you get your water problems. So I gotta go cut another sheet here to patch up what remains here, and I got one more hole in the back I gotta touch up, as well as taking care of that middle row of joints there. I haven't screwed that down yet, and I haven't screwed down the base, so I'll be doing that yet too. And then also up on top you'll see there's a piece of capping missing, so I'll be dealing with that as well. Let's have a look at this sheet here. It's a prime example of why the whole screwing or nailing through the ribs does not work. I have not touched this sheet yet, and as you can see, we got a significant gap. You can see nails are poking their heads out, as well as rusting their own hole out like crazy. So you can see so much gapping going on. And then as we move forward, just look at all those nails with their heads popped out. So this is why we don't put them through the ribs anymore. I just figured this was a great sheet to show you guys exactly what happens. Well folks, that's it for me. I got the ridge cap all done up on the top there. Don't know if you can see it, but it's a different profile than the other one. Very interesting old profile. It was a two-piece. I could see that would leak after a couple of years. I did want to point out the Harry Potter nod there. Apparently one of their people must be a fan of the Harry Potter series, if you can see that name at all. But as for me, I'm all done. I got the old scrap sheet thrown back in, so here's to saying thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and hopefully we see you in the next video.